Hello, Centrist, fellow Centrists. Just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about several things that are coming up. First of all, thank you for the wonderful support on election night coverage. I can't tell you how much response we got for the results themselves. We had almost 4,000 views. For the actual live video cast, we had about 60 people watching. Sorry about the audio initially, but we finally got that worked out. Then, on top of that, we had almost 300 and something people that finally ended up watching the video. So, lots and lots of people interested in what's going on in the city and in the state. We're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk to you just briefly about some activities that are coming on pretty soon. We have been able to get on September the 12th, District 2 will do a question and answer session over in Cooper Rec Center at about 6:30. And so what I need for you to start doing on the Centrist website is send me a message of some questions for District 1 and District 2 candidates, because the next night, District 1 is going to be doing the same thing over in Cooper Rec Center. So for both of the council people in Alexander City, we're going to have an open opportunity for individuals to send questions in to the Centrist, and then we're going to have a meet and greet afterwards that individuals can actually go up and talk to their candidates for District 1 and District 2. But we're going to ask some questions. We're going to give them a few minutes to do what I would call an opening appeal. And then we're going to ask some questions that have been submitted by you. My buddy Mitch Sneed is going to help me out with some of the questions from the Outlook that may or may not have been able to be asked during the council forum. But because it's just two districts left and because there are two candidates in each situation, we're going to really get to see what the issues are in those two districts and in the city of Alexander City that these individuals think that they might be able to help us with. We had confirmations from Bobby Tapley in District 1, Mr. Crow in District 1, Jacob Meacham in District 2, and then Audrey Colvin in District 2. All of these candidates have been excellent about being open and honest with their constituents. And I think it'll be good if you show up. Fine. If you're not able to come for whatever reason, of course, you know me being a centrist, we're going to try and live stream it also, so it'll be available on YouTube afterwards. It'll start at 6:30 at Cooper Rec Center on September the 12th for District 2, and then District 1 will be on September the 13th at 6:30. So make preparations to come out, show your support, whether you're for both candidates, whether you're for one candidate or the other, or if you're not sure, come out and see what these candidates have to say. We're currently also working on having the mayors to agree to come on September the 15th, and we're going to try and do that at the courtroom. We haven't been able to get confirmation yet from either one of the mayors. We put invitations out, and hopefully we'll get that nailed down. Just keep watching the web page or the website. Facebook page or the website, and hopefully we'll get some confirmation on that pretty soon. But we are looking at doing it at the city courtroom, 6:30, and same format. They'll have an opportunity to answer questions. They'll be able to give an opening statement. But most importantly, we'll have some time to really get to see what their vision is and what they want to do for the city of Alexander City. So that's city business. That's kind of what we got going on pretty soon. Like I said, thank you for all of the support. Please continue to like the Facebook page. We've actually started trying to go out and get a few sponsors to help kind of keep this situation going, because what we like to do in the future is to be able to videotape council meetings. We got several interviews scheduled for various elected officials in the city and in the state. We have some district attorney people that we're probably going to try and see if we can get uh, signed up to just tell us about themselves, tell them why you should vote for them, and those kinds of things. So we got a lot coming up and a lot of opportunity to be involved and a lot of opportunity to get some information. Um, the other thing is on October the 4th, since the coverage went over so well for the city people, we're going to ask that you go out and give us the information you did the last time, which was tell us what number you were when you voted and what district. Believe it or not, that helped us kind of get an idea of what the turnout was going to be like. But it also, and when you finish, we're going to try and see if we can get a little bit better about getting some results to you a little bit faster. Thanks to all of the individuals who went out and texted us and put information out on our Facebook account. We actually were well ahead on our numbers, and they were fairly accurate, and we were able to do a good job as far as reconciling it at the end, and we weren't that far off. So what we predicted was fairly accurate. So that's not us, that's you guys. Um, so October the 4th, we're looking at doing another live presentation. And then we haven't quite figured out what we're going to do for the national election on November the 8th. We may go to the county courthouse, or we may go down to Montgomery and see what's happening down there. So send us some information on Facebook as far as what you'd like to see us do. Either way, go to hit our watch this button on our Facebook page, or go to YouTube and look up Centrist Alabama and hit the red subscribe button. And what that does is whenever something new like this comes out, you'll get notified. Briefly, I did want to talk a little bit about something that I heard today, which was Speaker Ball actually came out with his proposal to try and work on the state ethics laws. What's interesting is they want to strengthen the ethics laws, which I find to be great, but at the same time, you've already lost the last speaker because of ethics laws. But Speaker Ball, I actually am beginning to like him and what he is standing for, because the thing he said was very simply this: we can put all the laws that we want to on the books, but we can't change the heart of man. And really, that's what these laws come down to. It's sad that our legislatures and our Congress has to pass laws so that they will behave with our money and also with doing things the right way. So I applaud the GOP for putting in some of the strongest ethics laws in Alabama, let alone the country. It kind of disheartens me a little bit that people are still, when you write the laws and then you go back and break them, that's not a very good sign. And hopefully, with the tweaks that they're getting ready to make, if there are some holes in the ethics laws, it'll make it a little easier to prosecute individuals. We've had several ethics complaints filed here locally in Alexander City. I know our mayor's gone through a couple of them. Our city finance person has been asked to do some things to testify. There have been a lot of people who have had to go through ethics questions. A lot of them have come out unscathed without any issues. Some have had to go through some additional issues. Some have been burned by it. But the fact that ethics is still an issue means that we as the people are not voting for the right individuals. I think we get caught up in labels and letting people tell us what they are in these situations. Either that or the office corrupts. And I wonder if we have made serving a situation where people get into the office and because of the money and the power leave some of their basic core values. And it bothers me from the standpoint of when legislators, city council and mayors and governors are in a position where they get to raise their own salaries. Um, Government was meant to be part time, and it was meant to be part time for the people. And if we get away from that and we start making it where it becomes beneficial to the individual to stay, because I'm a big fan, if you haven't figured out, of term limits, because I believe that term limits are important because it forces people to do all they can while they're in and be willing to pass it off to somebody else later. If you become a career politician, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. If you become a career politician, I believe that you end up losing some of the fire that you originally wanted to have when you went in your first time. Um, that's why I think it's fine that presidents have 8 years. You can't get it done in 8 years. You don't need to be there anymore. Same thing with governors. I am a big fan of congressional people, senators, state representatives, all of them having term limits. Usually, the people that get caught for corruption have been in longer than a two-term situation. Go back and take a look. Most of them have been in for a long time, and they've learned how to work the system. If we get to, I don't even think you'd have to worry about ethics and ethics laws if individuals aren't in there that long, because if you think about it, they wouldn't have time to figure out how to get around the laws. So that may be something that I encourage our state people to look at, is instead of ethics laws, let's do term limits so that we can get people out, get fresh faces in, and let the people pick individuals that currently feel the way that they do and see what happens in that situation. I noticed that the lottery died, thank God, because it's not that I'm against the lottery, it's just I did not like the fact that if it was for education or whatever originally, that was defined money. But to put it into the general fund and to put it into a situation where individuals can't really follow that money and trust a commission was a little scary for me. So I also thought it was kind of ironic that our governor was sitting there saying that uh, if you want to save the babies, you needed to vote for the lottery. That's kind of an oxymoron to me. I mean, you know, there are a lot of other options that you could have used other than the lottery. And at this point, if you're that intent on saving babies, as you said in your lottery proposal, why not take the Medicaid money? At least you know what it's going to do. You know where it's coming from. And you know what you got to do to keep it for the time. It's billions of dollars. And at some point in time, you know that it'll run out. But I didn't, building your economy on lottery, gambling, these consumption taxes is a scary thing, because as soon as something happens and people don't have the money to afford those things, typically that money dries up and you have an even worse situation than when you originally started. So lottery bill died. It may come back again. I think this is the third time it's probably died, so we'll know more later on. Like I said, I give the credit to the GOP for at least trying to do more on ethics. But one of the things here at the Centrist is you can't legislate morality, and we're finding that out more and more each day. If you look from a local standpoint here in Alexander City, you know, uh, there's a lot of questions about what's happening with the money, who's doing right, who's doing wrong, who's for who, and all of that. And it really shouldn't be that way. We should be every elected official should be looking at what's right for the citizens, and not necessarily what do I think is right. They should be looking at and talking to citizens to find out what do they want in those situations. So maybe if we got more towards that potential thought process, people would think. And it's the same at the state. I mean, the fact that you've had to put your Speaker of the House in jail doesn't necessarily mean we have the greatest ethical issues going on right now, along with the fact that your governor has had his issues. So right now, ethics and morality doesn't seem to be the cornerstone of state, city, or even national politics. Let's not even talk about we have two candidates who ethically and morally are probably corrupt. Um, I have yet to run into individuals that are voting for the person because they have the greatest policies that they agree with. Just about everyone that I talk to says that I'm voting for Trump or I'm voting for Clinton, not because of how great of a person they are, not because of the fact that they believe in the things that they believe in. It's because I can't stand the other person. That's what we've gotten to in our elections now is I'm voting for someone because not because I like them for what they believe in and what I believe they can do, but I'm voting for them because they're not the other person. I don't know about you, but that's ridiculous. But it's the world that we've come to when both candidates have less than half the country that think that they have favorability towards them. Uh, so and then both of them have ethical baggage attached to them. Trump has ethical baggage attached to him based upon his business practices and other things. And we all know that Senator Clinton or Secretary Clinton has baggage associated with her because of her emails and how she conducts business with um, the Clinton Foundation. Neither one of them should be president. Now, nobody wants to talk about that, but neither one of them deserves to be president. I get that people are voting for Trump because Clinton is not the most trusted individual in the world. I get that people are voting for Clinton because Trump has a lot of baggage. And as I've written in one of my commentaries, if Trump or anyone else in the GOP, they would be winning right now. They would be winning handily. Clinton is a wounded candidate. She has so much baggage that if anything comes up at any point, it might send her to jail. That is not the person that you want in the White House. But when you go to the other side, every time Trump opens his mouth, he sounds like Clinton, and you really don't have an idea what he's saying, and it's usually not good. But he's not Clinton, and Clinton's not him. So you have half the country literally that is voting because they don't like the other person. And it's sad, but socially, people start bringing that into their normal lives. And you can see, and that is one of the reasons why this country is so divided right now, is because not only politically, but socially, people have to associate themselves with either being Democrat or Republican, and there doesn't seem to be any room in the middle where people can negotiate and figure out how to get out of a bunch of messes that we're in. Uh, Colin Kaepernick, same situation. It doesn't make sense why he is in the position that he's in, and he has a right to say what he says, but you don't have to agree or disagree with what he says, but he has that right to do what he did. And I don't personally think that it was the right decision, but I would have to support him for the fact that he had the right to do it. I would have preferred that if he had done so, I mean, since he did something like that, that it was a situation where he was able to back it up with something that he has done to further progress his cause in that situation. Help train, put some money towards it, volunteer time and effort, whatever. But to continue to just say things to be saying them and not necessarily educating individuals as to what needs to specifically be done, uh, takes us down the same road we've been on. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see us getting off that road. First thing that happens is somebody says or does something, and whether it has been done before by someone else or not, we always take a side based upon what friends and neighbors and others do or say out in the public, and we don't look at the general aspect of, has somebody else in my camp done it? Is this common practice or this, that, and the other? To be honest with you, it is no different than if you're upset with something, instead of continuing to sit there and watch it, turn it off. Nobody's holding you hostage that you have to be a part of that situation. I know there are a lot of people that in Alexander City that say, well, the Outlook doesn't have to report all the bad news. Well, as I've said recently, well, when was the last time that the Outlook sold papers because a plane landed safely in Alexander City? Those things don't sell. They're there to sell papers and to report the news, whether good or bad. Typically, what sells is the bad information. So if you don't want to see that, turn it off. It's a reality. Same thing with this show. I had a lot of people who, have said, well, I don't necessarily, I find it hilarious. And I want you to listen to me clearly. If you're going to share or look at my information, fine. But don't preface it with, I don't necessarily agree with this individual. Then don't share it. don't read it. No one is asking you to be all up in the YouTube channel if you don't agree with it. That you have the same right to not look at something as you do to look at something. And I can't get that. You know, it's just strange how people get caught up and don't look at the entire aspect of what they're saying and doing. All we're trying to do is give a different perspective of news, social issues, religious issues, and different things of that nature. Trying to help people learn something. Maybe they'll pick up something, maybe they won't. But enough of that. Like I said, I just wanted to do a quick video to bring people up to speed about what we're doing. You'll probably see a small commercial later on, but I did want to thank everyone for supporting what we're trying to do, and I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. And if you need anything, hit me up on the Centrist of Alabama. Have a great day.